Welcome to the class of chemistry. So this is the second lecture of chemistry. As you know, we have done first lecture on the surface chemistry yesterday. So we have seen that what is adsorption and what is absorption. Okay. So the difference between the adsorption and absorption is that in adsorption it is a surface phenomena. Okay, the accumulation of particles is only on surface, but in absorption the particles move inside the bulk also. Okay, the interaction is inside the bulk also. The concentration, we can say the concentration of particles is inside bulk also. This is absorption. And this is adsorption. Okay, so when both adsorption and absorption takes place simultaneously, then we use the term sorption. What we use? Sorption term when both adsorption and absorption take place simultaneously. Likewise, like when these particles settle on the surface also, plus when in the bulk also, it is known as sorption. Okay, so we have done this. Now what is the mechanism of the surface chemistry? The mechanism of surface chemistry, as I have yesterday I have also explained this, that the mechanism is based on the residual forces. Like these molecules cancel out their forces and the net force will be zero in these molecules, because these molecules are same, so their forces will be same, so the net force will be zero, and these are the balanced forces inside the bulk, as you have seen yesterday, the bulk. Okay, so this is the surface. Now this is the residual forces, and the particle will interact, the particle, or we can say the gaseous molecule, will interact with these only. Okay, these atoms only, because they have the attraction force. We can say they have the residual forces or have the attraction forces. Okay, they will attract the particle towards the surface. So we can say that when the surface area will increase, when we increase the surface area, if I increase this, the surface area is increased, then the interaction of particles will also increase on the surface. As I can say, the attractive forces will also increase. Okay, so I can say that when adsorption increases, then if surface area increase, then adsorption also increase. Okay, now during adsorption there is always a decrease in residual forces of surface. See, the residual forces will decrease. Why? Because the particles will balance these forces. जैसे ये पार्टिकल्स अगर अट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं तो इनकी फोर्सेस क्या होगी? जो रेजिडुअल फोर्सेस या अट्रैक्टिव फोर्सेस थी उनका क्या होगा? कम होगी ना, वो बिल्कुल एकदम जीरो हो जाएंगी. जैसे ये बैलेंस होगी तो ये भी बैलेंस हो जाएंगी. क्यों? क्योंकि बीच में ऊपर पार्टिकल्स आ जाएंगे. ओके, सो ड्यूरिंग एडसॉर्प्शन देयर इज ऑलवेज ए डिक्रीज इन रेजिडुअल फोर्सेस ऑफ सरफेस. नाउ delta H, which is known as enthalpy. Okay, as you know, you have read thermodynamics in 11th. Delta H is adsorption. In adsorption is always negative. It means that if the interaction occurs between the surface and the particle or molecule of a gas, then when these van der Waals forces of attraction, there is van der Waals force of attraction because it is a weak attraction force. So when the molecule come closer and the interaction occurs, there is release of heat. Okay, so delta H is always negative, and delta S, which is known as entropy. Entropy means the disorder. Okay, entropy means the disorder. When the delta S entropy, as you know, it is disorder, it will be negative, because when the gaseous molecule which are freely moving in the air, when settle down on the surface, they have attraction force, so they can't move randomly now. So their disorder, or we can say their free movement is bonded, so that's why delta S, which is entropy, which is known as disorder, is negative. Okay, so as we can say that delta H is also negative. It will be always negative because it is released as surface phenomena is, or we can say the adsorption is a exothermic process. As you know, in the exothermic process the heat is always released. Okay, heat is released, so delta H will be negative. Now in this, when enthalpy as delta H will decrease, then entropy will also decrease at constant pressure and temperature. Okay, because they both are same. Now as you know, the Gibbs free energy, the formula is delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S. As we know, the delta H is negative and delta S is also negative. Then if we want a spontaneous process, in the spontaneous process delta D is always negative. So in spontaneous process, for a spontaneous process, if delta G should be negative, then the value of the delta H should be more negative. Okay, should be more negative than delta S. Okay, because this is minus and this is negative, and then negative sign again, this is positive. Okay, so when we get a higher negative value, just because of when delta H will be more, the value of the delta H will be more, then automatically the delta G, the answer will be negative. Okay, so in for spontaneous process delta G is negative, and for delta G negative, delta H should be negative high value. Okay, the value of the delta H should be high in negative portion. Okay, like the minus value will be high, then we will get the answer in minus. Okay, so for spontaneous process delta H should be high negative value as matlab delta Ts. Okay, now when delta H equal to delta Ts, when the both will be equal, then delta G, which is Gibbs free energy, will be 0, and this is the equilibrium. Which state it come? It is equilibrium. Now the Gibbs energy is 0 for that. In equilibrium the Gibbs energy is 0. For non-spontaneous process delta G, which is free Gibbs energy, will be positive. In this, if we get positive value, how we will get the positive value? Like delta S, we will increase the value of delta S, then the delta H will be lower, so we will get the delta G in positive, and that will be the non-spontaneous process. Okay, so you all understand.